2017 Dixie State Winter Sports Preview. Pleased to have you joining us, whether it be on the radio, ESPN 97.7 FM, on television at TDS Cable Channel 22, or online at the Dixie State Athletics YouTube page. Today we give you an inside look at the 2017-2018 winter sports teams with women's swimming and men's and women's basketball. I'm Carrick Sagmiller, Assistant Coordinator of Media Relations, also radio play-by-play voice here at Dixie State Athletics. Pleased to be joined today by Devin Dixon, afternoon drive host and play-by-play announcer at ESPN 97.7 FM. Devin will be helping me ask the questions throughout today's event. Devin, as always, thanks for being here.
Looking forward to it, bud.
See a little bit different format today. I'm not at a podium. This table is shrinking a little bit, but excited to have you on board. And we're going to have some great questions, some great answers from our winter sports teams today. Before we introduce, we're going to introduce our first team now. And we're going to have each player introduce themselves. Our women's swimming team will be joining us first. We'll have each of you introduce yourselves, and then Coach will toss it back to you for an opening statement, and then we'll start with the questions after that. So go ahead, players, and introduce yourselves, and Coach, follow with an opening statement.
Sweet. Okay, I'm Hannah Hansen. I'm a sophomore transfer student. I'm originally from Lehigh, Utah, but my family moved to St. George, so kind of from St. George now. And so, yeah.
I'm Audrey Parrish. I'm a sophomore as well, and I'm from Wenatchee, Washington.
And I'm Sadria Russell, and I too am a sophomore from Worland, Wyoming.
Coach, opening statement.
Well, we're considered a winter sport, but we've been hard at it for about 3 months now. We've gotten kind of the bulk of our training behind us, and we're kind of moving into the competitive part of our season. We've had a couple of meets so far, done very well. Some outstanding times to get us started off, and we're really getting excited 2 weeks from now to head up to Colorado Mesa for kind of our focus competition of this fall, and that'll kind of get us started through the holidays and into the championship part going into January and February.
Thank you, Coach. That kind of led right into the first question I wanted to ask. Is kind of an interesting dynamic. It's a long sport. There's not necessarily one season that you're in. How do you help your student athletes prepare mentally for something that long of a season? I mean, you're not just going a couple of months and then you're done, but you're training in the off season and then you have a long season during the year as well.
Yeah, swimming is probably one of the most grueling of the sports from a training perspective, just because of the amount of time commitment. It's very difficult training wise, and we go a 6-month season, which is probably one of the longest for in-season training. And a lot of times we're a couple months into our training before we ever get to our first competition. So it is challenging to keep them focused when you're not competing all of the time and you're just training day after day. But I think a lot of it is we have great athletes who know why they're here. They've been in the sport a long time, and so they kind of understand what to expect and how to get themselves mentally prepared.
Coach, you've got some results, but what are your expectations moving forward, starting with this next swim meet?
Well, I think this next meet is really going to determine to a large degree where we're at for the season. So as we've gone through the fall, we've tried a few different events, just gotten comfortable with the team and how they interact together, where we might put some relays together to find the strongest combinations. And as we go into this meet in Colorado Mesa, we'll rest a little bit, put on our fast championship suits, and that'll really give us an idea, kind of a pre-conference idea of what events we're looking at, where we might need to work on the last 2 months or so going into conference.
How's chemistry with this team? I mean, it's a new program, obviously, so is everybody connected and really dialed in together?
I would probably say that's one of our greatest strengths as a team is the team genuinely like each other. They like being around each other. It's really hard to do well in the sport if that's not the case, and so that is probably one of the greatest team strengths right now.
Question for Hannah. Right off, we start talking to some of the players here. This is your first year at Dixie State. Started at BYU your freshman year, went on a mission, and now you're back in the pool competing. Did it take you a little while to kind of get back in swim shape to be able to go out and compete in meets?
Oh yeah, definitely. In fact, there was a practice 2 months ago. I I like went home and I cried. I was like, I'm never gonna get in shape. But no, I'm definitely where I want to be. In fact, I'm almost right back to where I was right before I left on an LDS mission while I was swimming at BYU. So.
What was it about Dixie State as you came back from the mission that you decided I want to go swim in St. George rather than up at BYU?
Well, like you said, it's like a new program, so that really excited me. And I think Coach is an awesome coach. He's really focused on the individual swimmer, which I've had a lot of coaches, and that's something that stands out and he's unique. And I just knew it was a new program, and I wanted to be a part of that. And it just seemed like a better fit for me than BYU did. So.
Audrey, I'm just curious, when did you first start swimming? I mean, kids start swimming with their parents at the pool when they're little, but when did you first get into competitive swimming?
I probably started when I was about 7. None of my family's into swimming. I was the first one right out the bat. I love the water, so my mom put me in it, and that's when I started, and I've been doing it ever since.
Which are your specific competitions do you compete in?
I do freestyle, sprint freestyle, mid-distance now, and butterfly as well.
You're sophomore, you're one of the leaders. You're one of the upperclassmen on this team.
I guess you could say that. I still feel like a freshman sometimes, but yeah, it's been an experience last year when with me and Sadria being captains now. It's a transition because everyone looks up to you now, so we have to be the examples, and it's been fun. It's been fun getting to know the new girls and everything too. So.
Question for Sadria, and then we can kick it back to the other swimmers as well. Talk about how many sophomores and freshmen there are on these teams. You're all similarly aged and similar in competition. Does that ramp up the competition at practice? Is there just competitiveness all throughout the pool at practice to try and see who's going to go compete in the meets?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things though about this program is we're always pushing each other to be our best, and that's really cool for me. In high school, coming from such a small program, I didn't really have many people to compete with other than my little sister. But now I get to compete with everyone, and it's always it keeps me focused at practice too, I think, to be able to always see where I am ranked against these girls, and there's such amazing talent from them, so it's cool to put myself up against them.
Sadria, who could hold their breath the longest on the team? Do you guys ever just, because I know that's part of it. I mean, obviously that helps with endurance and a lot of attributes to a good swimming program.
Hannah actually has an amazing underwater, probably the best on the team. For breaststroke, she has an outstanding pullout. So.
Now, what's this? I see you're a firefighter. Are you still doing that while you're in college, or is this something you did in the past, or what's that all about?
I fight wildland fires in the summer as a job, and then when the season ends, that's when swim season begins. So as soon as fire's done, I jump right into swimming.
I don't know. Your summers as adventurous as hers?
No. You stay around the pool. Yeah.
Back to Coach. The second official year of the program. Of course, you've been here and recruiting and trying to put it together for about another year before that. What's been different this year versus last year as you were just getting your feet wet? Bad pun.
I would say we've just taken some gigantic steps forward as a program this year. The level of athletes that are in the program has really stepped up, and I think that's a combination of those who are returning, understanding how to get the most out of their college experience, as well as bringing in a couple of transfers and all the new freshmen. I would say probably the most difficult thing as a coach right now is I felt like last year there was a larger stratification from top to bottom, and this year the times in a lot of events are very, very close, which makes it difficult as a coach when you're trying to decide for relays and other things what's going to be the best combination. But those are all great problems to have when you can see that competitive level coming up and already putting up times that are faster than we were doing at conference last year. I think it's pretty clear the steps that we've taken this year to better the team.
As far as the conference goes, Coach, what is the Pacific Collegiate Swim Conference? I mean, can you kind of surprise some people, or do you feel like you're one of the front runners this year, or do you kind of know where you stand going into the conference?
I think that we surprised them last year, and I think this year they're a little bit better prepared. There's 13 teams in the conference. Last year we were able to be 8th at the conference meet, and so I think that surprised a few. And then just when we went to the conference opening, they kind of had an opening meet with a lot of the conference teams in October this year, and I got several comments from other coaches who were like, wow, there's Dixie State. It's impressive what they're doing this early on, only the second year, and I think now it's a little bit more on the radar.
How has that impacted recruiting as you've gone out trying to get girls like these that are here to come swim for you, and to see, just like your conference mates down there, to see, oh wow, here's Dixie State, they're on the scene, they've got a good thing going there. Has that positively impacted your recruiting efforts?
Well, I think there's a few things that have really helped us on that. Is number one, once we get out there and compete, and it gives other athletes a chance to see kind of what the program is about. As they come in and visit, just spending time with the athletes on campus makes them feel really good about St. George and about Dixie State and what we have to offer, as well as knowing the new Health and Human Performance building is coming down the road. I think a lot of athletes look at that, and that's a huge plus when you look at facilities as an opportunity to be able to compete at the highest level.
Back to Hannah, some of the other players, or swimmers, excuse me. So many different sports swirling through the mind here. As fall crossover comes to an end. But take us through a typical practice. I mean, how much time do you spend in the weight room as a swimmer? Some people, I think, just look at swimming and say they're just in the pool, probably just swimming the whole time, but there's got to be some strength and conditioning that goes along with it.
Oh, definitely. So Tuesdays and Thursdays are our mornings where we spend in the weight room, usually like an hour and a half. Then every afternoon we'll swim from 2 to 4. And then also Mondays, Fridays, and Saturdays we swim in the morning at 6 for 2 hours. So it's a lot of time in the pool, but also it's important we get in the weight room and we lift those weights because, we need those double training, crossover training. So,
Audrey, how hard is it, because you're not swimming in front of thousands of people like other athletes at Dixie State, so how much do you rely on your teammates for motivation and your coach, and then just channeling that inner toughness to go out and get the job done, right?
Yeah. A lot of people would say, swimming is an individual sport, but in the end, it's actually very much a team sport. You rely on each other, especially when it comes to relays. You all have to be in it, because if one person's out, someone's got to pick up the slack somewhere. So it's a constant battle, but if everyone keeps their head up, everyone will have a better attitude throughout the practice and everything. So we try to just have a constant go-get-it attitude, and it helps with Ben over there saying go, go, go all the time.
Sadri, is this team set some goals that you can share with us, and do you have some individual goals you're trying to accomplish this season?
Yeah, together as a team at the very beginning, we set some pretty high goals, and it'll definitely be difficult to reach some of these goals, but we 100% have the potential to reach them. We definitely want to increase where we stand in conference. 8th isn't good enough for us. We can do a lot better. So as a team, that's one thing that we really want to work on. Personally, I definitely want to also increase my standing. Last year I placed decently, but the more points I score, the more points our team scores. And so even if each girl just moves up one place or just beats out one girl, it's going to make the biggest difference. We won, who was it, Coach? By 1 point. By 1 point we won. Biola University. And just that 1 point was enough to push us up. And so 1 point is what's going to make the difference this year.
Who do you see, maybe any of you can answer this, who do you see kind of a rivalry? I know it's a second-year program. Do you start to feel a little rivalry with any of these other schools? If so, who?
Say Loyola,
yeah,
right?
Loyola. That's who we want to hopefully be competing with at, And they're Division I, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, we had Loyola in for a dual meet to start off the season this fall. They're a team that they finished 6th in the conference last year, but a significant amount ahead of where we were. We had them in at the first of the year. It came down to the very last relay of the meet, and they were able to just edge us out. We just kind of ran out of bullets at the end, but I think it gave us a really good sense of where we've progressed and where we might be able to finish in the conference this year. It's a very difficult conference, so definitely gives us something to work towards.
Of course, you get to go down to Los Angeles to compete in their kind of invitational down there, the Loyola Marymount Lion Cup in January. How many other schools will be there? Do you get a chance to get back at them individually, or are you competing against other schools when you go back down there?
That meet is, it's kind of a fun meet. Loyola's there, Pepperdine, as well as Alaska Fairbanks, and us. And so you got 4 women's programs, and we compete in the conference lineup over a 2-day period. So it gives us a real good chance to see where we stack up against those teams, really only about a month out from the conference championships. So we really look forward to that one each year, because that's where we're really fine-tuning which events we're going to end up in at conference.
Well, that's great. We really appreciate you coming by, being part of our winter sports preview today. Our time has expired on this segment. We wish you the best of luck throughout the season. We'll be keeping a close eye on the results. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course, women's swimming team is in action. They'll go to Grand Junction, Colorado on November 30th. They'll be there till December 2nd to compete in the Colorado Mesa A3 Performance Invitational. And from there, the Trailblazers will host Arizona Christian in a dual meet on January 5th and 6th. Of course, the PCSC Conference Championships will be in La Mirada, California, February 14th through the 17th. 2018. It's time for our first break. When we come back, the women's basketball team will join us on set. Don't go anywhere. Much more from the 2017 Dixie State Winter Sports Preview right after this timeout.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it?
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got? Or C, show solidarity?
Thank you, baby. As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Every year, 40% of all food in the U.S. never gets eaten.
40%. That's almost half the food we produce.
Food waste is a serious problem. It impacts all of us.
And it's expensive. Your family is throwing $1,500 a year in the trash.
We're working hard to put food waste on the chopping block.
And you can do the same at home.
Learn how to cook it, store it, and share it.
Just don't waste it.
Go to savethefood.com.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Recently, our country has witnessed catastrophic devastation. Hurricanes and flooding have upended lives and livelihoods.
Across this great country, Americans have answered the call.
That special calling that compels us, when others are down, to step up and do whatever it takes.
America's at her best when, against all odds, we come together and lift each other up.
Please donate to oneamericaappeal.org. America needs you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everything starts out small. The things that hurt us, they all start from somewhere. The words we say, the things we do, they can grow into something else. What was small and innocent can become big and sometimes scary. All it takes is one comment, one picture, one video for something to catch fire. But a big problem doesn't need a big response. Not at first. Even if we don't know what to say, the eye emoji can be that first step we take. Let's all pledge to take that first small step together and change the world in a big way. I'm a witness, and so are you.
Hi, welcome back inside the 2017 Dixie State Athletics Winter Sports Preview, live from the CEC TV studios. Our next team is looking to turn some heads this season as the coaching staff enters its second year with the team. Joining us now is the women's basketball team, and thanks for being here today. We'll just have you introduce yourselves, you 4 players, go down the line, and then Coach, we'll toss it back to you for an opening statement. All right. So go ahead.
I'm Mariah Martine. I'm from Salt Lake, Sandy area, and I'm a point guard.
I'm Taylor Moriaki. I'm from American Fork, and I'm a freshman guard.
I'm Morgan Myers, and I'm from St. George, so this is my hometown, and then I'm a freshman and a guard.
And I'm Kesley Stevenson. I'm from Willard, Utah, and I'm a freshman guard.
Coach, opening statement.
Carrick and Devin, we just want to thank you for having us. We really appreciate you guys taking the time and doing this for women's basketball and then for our entire department. So we really appreciate you guys.
As you enter the 2017-2018 season, Coach, you've got 4 very talented freshmen here with you today, and a team that, like I said, kind of as I was introducing you guys, looking to turn some heads this year. And 2 games under your belt so far this season, 1-1, going up in Oregon, getting the split up there. Maybe just talk about that just generally before we dive real into the deep stuff. Going up there, getting the split and getting the win was the first non-conference win since 2014 for this program.
Yeah, Carrick, we're just trying to figure things out. Obviously, a lot of new faces. I think we have good players, but we just don't know what we're doing yet, and so that might take a minute or two. So we were excited just to get started and now have a foundation to move forward with.
I think one of the biggest burning questions I think we both have for all of you players, you're freshmen, you're all coming in at the same time. You've been competing against each other in high school for the last 3-4 plus years, and now you get to come in and you're playing on a team. Has it taken a minute for that chemistry to come, for that to start clicking, or did you kind of just, okay, we're teammates now, let's do this? Start with Mariah.
I don't know. I've played with Taylor before, so we've kind of always had chemistry, and then we all became like really close off the court, so it kind of helped on the court. We already had like good chemistry, so it's been fun.
Taylor?
Yeah, they're just really easy to play with, so it's not like anyone's really difficult, so it's been fun so far.
Morgan, Kesley, same story? Are you guys been fun to just jump in and play with these other freshmen?
Yep, for sure.
Morgan, I'm just curious, what's the biggest adjustment from high school to practices now, a couple games under your belt? I hear a lot of players say it's the speed of the game. Was that similar for you, or was it other things that have been a tougher transition?
Yeah, definitely the speed and intensity, for sure. Also in games and in practices is definitely intensity. That's the difference between, I think, in high school and college ball, for sure.
All 4 of you coming from Utah, strong Utah ties on this team now. How much role did that play in your choice to come down here to Dixie State? Kesley, we'll start with you. And you get to come down from Willard almost as high in the state of Utah as you can get without still being in Utah. Yeah. Make the decision to come down and play at Dixie State. Was that one determining factor to stay in the state?
Yeah, coming down on my visit, I really loved St. George, and being about 5 hours away, I mean, it wasn't too close, but it wasn't too far, so it was like the perfect fit for me. So yeah.
I know the drive well. My wife is from Willard, so that's why I say it's about as far as in Utah as you can go without leaving the state. So it's a little bit of a trek, but you're still in the state of Utah.
For sure.
Did that play any role, Taylor, in you staying here at Dixie, or coming down to Dixie to stay in the state of Utah?
Yeah, I definitely wanted to stay in state just because wanted to stay close to family and be able to, travel back and forth. And I love St. George, and I always have. So I had the opportunity to come down here, live here. I wanted to take it.
Coach, talk style, philosophy. Last year, you're coming in first year. You got a lot of players already here. Now you got to be able to bring in, recruit some of your own. You still want that up tempo, I'm sure. Tell us how this group fits into how you like to coach.
Yes, sir. Yeah, thank you. That's a great question. Yeah, my philosophy kind of as a basketball coach is up tempo. We want to get up and down and disrupt defensively and shoot it.
Not able to do that very much last year. We almost had a completely different style for a number of different reasons. But I like our foundation. I like this group of young kids. They definitely fit into that coaching style, and we're going to try and defend you full court and disrupt and get it out quickly offensively and really put a lot of pressure on you in transition first. We prefer not even to play half-court offense. We just want to get a good early one and then defend you again. So not only these four, but the rest of our team are really kind of buying into that, and I think have a chance to be not only fun to play. I think it's a fun style to play, but it's also a fun style to coach and definitely to watch.
Did all of you players, did you guys, were you in offense in high school? You're all freshmen. I know, Morgan, you got up and down the court quite a bit, but for some of you other, did you press a lot in high school? Is that easy transition for you? Start with you, Mariah.
Yeah, well, my high school, we didn't really have an offense, so we were just always up and down, always trying to get steals and get quick buckets, so.
Yeah, my high school style was really similar to this, just instinctual and full court pressing all game, and so I think that's helped a little bit coming into this.
Yeah, and then my high school, we would kind of go back and forth between pressing, sometimes half court guard, half and other half, sometimes full court press. So just kind of back and forth. This is definitely, like Morgan was saying, college is very more up tempo and the pace is a lot quicker. So.
How competitive are practices right now, Kelsey? Everybody's still fighting for minutes right now. Coach is still searching for lineups right now. Tell us a little bit about what it's like between the lines in practice.
I think just being, one step on the court, it's competitive, and everyone's just trying to do their best, and then off the court we're best friends. So. Yeah.
Coach, what's your perspective on practice? What are you seeing? You seeing the effort you want, and how is that playing time looking and shaping up? Are you getting a general idea, or is there still a lot up for grabs?
Yeah, this weekend was big for that, Devin, because going into the weekend, absolutely, but it's starting to shore up a little bit. The biggest thing we talk about on the floor, off the floor, is just learning to just respect each other, and we're trying to learn how to trust each other. The culture and the health of our program, our team is kind of priority right now as we lay down a foundation for the future. So we talk about that sort of stuff maybe more so than we want to be competitive in practice. Everybody does, but taking care of each other on and off the floor is more important to us than being crazy competitive in practice, I guess.
What's your thoughts? I've asked a lot of the coaches this, but it's the final season of Pac West, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's going to the other conference at the end of this year.
Yeah, it's a great question.
What's your thoughts kind of going through the conference slate, last visit to a lot of these towns and whatnot?
Yeah, so I think it's different for us in the state of our program because we got stepped on and beat up a lot last year, and we're just kind of starting to get on our feet. And so I'm a little bit disappointed to be leaving the Pac West because by the time we do get on our feet and get competitive, we're going to be out the door. So I kind of want a little piece of all of them type of thing, but we're probably not going to get that opportunity. We're going to do our best, obviously, this year, and I think we'll have a chance to compete. But yeah, I'm a little bit bummed about that. We're not going to be completely where we want to be competing against all those teams.
Coach, through 2 games, and then even at the exhibition up at Utah State, teams attempted 56 threes and converting at almost 40% of those shots from outside. Is that something that the team looks to do, or is that just a byproduct of getting up and down the floor and finding a shot that's there? Yeah,
no, that's what we want to do. We talk a lot about getting great shots. We do our best not to take double team contested shots. And so if you're open, they know that they have the green light. We just want them to shoot confidently, and yeah, we're gonna shoot threes if you're open for sure.
Mariah, as the point guard of this team, you're bringing the ball up the floor. You've got all these options. We saw Kesley knocking a bunch of threes yesterday at Utah State. Taylor can shoot it from outside. You've got Allie Franks who can shoot. You've got so many weapons from the outside. What's going through your mind as you're bringing the ball up the floor, surveying your options?
Honestly, whoever I see first, I'm giving them the ball. So I love giving it to Kesley, though, because we always like pointing at each other when she hits the three. It's always fun. So, yeah.
Morgan, this freshman year for you, Any personal goals? I mean, you just want to get out there and do what you can, or have you said, hey, I'd like to average this, or I'd like to be the spark off the bench, or whatever that might be? Kind of take me through that.
So personal goals, I would want to try to be the best defender on the team. So try to shut down the best player on the other team, making sure that I'm doing my job and fulfilling my role. So.
Coach, you like hearing that?
Yeah. Morgan is as athletic and talented as a player that I've coached in my years. And once we get her to slow down a little bit and work on that overall skill, I think she has a chance to be a terrific college basketball player. We're so incredibly grateful to have her, and to have a local kid is, and I've told her this before, it doesn't matter if she's local or if she's from Mars. We're really glad to have her, but it does help that she's a local kid that not only she, I think, have tremendous potential, but she's just a fantastic young lady to be around, and just pleasant, and we're just grateful to have her.
I know what you're talking about with the full speed, though.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
I love watching that.
I know, me too.
Except when you turn it over.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Taylor, well, you're all freshmen, so we can ask all of you these same questions. But we'll go to you, Taylor. Last week was the opening weekend, your first two college games. Did it take a minute for it to kind of to slow down and start clicking? Or just talk about how excited you were to get out onto the court finally and get out of the training camp phase and get out onto the court and play?
Yeah, definitely not having like a summer with club ball that added to it, just like being excited to get a game in. But also we scrimmaged Snow College and Utah State Eastern a couple weeks ago, so that I think got the majority of the nerves out, but there was still definitely some going in, but I think we're getting the hang of it, all of us.
Cool. Coach, I was going to ask you about that tournament you're hosting later this month. I mean, expectations, thoughts, teams coming in, give us a little preview.
Yeah, so Mace is coming to town on Friday, and they're really good. They have a guard, a point guard that's been all player of the year in that conference in the RMAC. And so we'll have our hands full preparing for that, and then a good MSU Northern team on Sunday. But we're more concerned about us. We're a work in progress. Right now we're fouling too much. We learned that we foul way too much. We're giving like 32 free throws up a game right now, and so we're going to really try and limit that, and then we just want to continue to create this tempo, and so that's kind of going into the weekend. Not foul. We're going to try and continue to be better on the boards. I thought Utah State beat us up a little bit in that third quarter. For the most part, we had a lot of fun yesterday at the Utah State game. Hurt with Taylor getting in foul trouble because then Mariah had to play more minutes, and with that kind of pressure, 3 games in 4 days was a lot to handle with Utah State and your face double teaming like they did Mariah the whole game. So having Taylor, not give her some minutes was tough. If that doesn't happen, I think we have a chance to be right in there. Yesterday.
You mentioned the Utah State game. It's like you're reading my questions that I have here to ask, but I tried to watch as much of that as I could yesterday. It seemed like they were full court pressing you a lot, just pressuring all the way up and down the floor. And that's why you go play these games, so you can figure out what it is you need to work on. How much of that the pressure get to your team, do you feel like, and what were you able to take from playing that game at Utah State?
Well, it was, first of all, the environment was really fun. And then we're able to take a bunch of it. Was we gained a lot of confidence from our post play was really good. I thought our post defending was as good as it's been in my time here. And then just gaining confidence. These freshmen just need games. They just need to play. And I just think they have a lot of potential, not just our freshmen, but our team in general. And we got to get out there and just do it.
Kesley, you've been getting ready for these games, played up in Oregon now, but finally get to come back and play in the Burns Arena this week and into next week as well, with a couple home games next week also. How excited are you to get out into the Burns? You've seen the facilities through the recruiting process, you committed, you've practiced here, now you get to go and play here in the Burns Arena.
Yeah, I think, speaking for all of us, college ball has always been a dream of ours, and so be able to, show our our town here, the hard work we've been putting in so far, it's pretty exciting. So.
I had a question I was going to ask, and it just popped out of there. But we appreciate you stopping by today. Our time has pretty much passed by in this segment, so we appreciate you coming by and being part of our winter sports preview. We're really excited to coach, to have you on board here year 2, and all 4 of you freshmen. We're excited to have you here at Dixie State and to see everything that you can do for this program. And like I said, I think we're really going to surprise some people as you go through the preseason and the conference slate this year. So we're really excited to have you on board. We appreciate you stopping by. Good luck this year.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Of course, like we said, women's basketball team will be hosting Colorado Mesa on Friday at 5 p.m. and then Montana State Northern on Sunday at 3 p.m. Those are both inside the Burns Arena. Into next week on the 21st, they'll host Antelope Valley at 4 p.m. and then host Westminster the day after Thanksgiving on Friday the 24th at 2 p.m. So be sure to come on out and support the women's basketball team inside the Burns Arena. We got to take our final break. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show with the men's basketball team right here in the 2017 Dixie State Winter Sports Preview. Don't go anywhere. We're right back after this timeout.
Expect when you're expecting.
Like here?
A teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to team-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey. Ready for the...
Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Tonight, along the Texas Gulf Coast, utter devastation. Harvey barreled ashore overnight, packing 130-mile-an-hour winds, blinding sheets of rain, and a treacherous storm surge.
Harvey can't mess with Texas. So donate now to help make Texas whole again.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert? Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably going to turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
Te pondrán a prueba. Te llevarán hasta el límite. Pero no importa cuán fuerte griten o cuántos cositos de queso vuelen por el aire, tú eres el conductor, el que está al mando. No te rindas. Resiste. Y arranca solo después de oír el clic del cinturón, porque cada 8 minutos un pasajero de 8 a 14 años resulta lastimado en un choque.
Hey, look, it's those guys. Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
Welcome back inside the CEC TV studios where Dixie State Winter Sports Preview marches on. Our final team of the day qualified for its 7th NCAA West Regional in the last 8 years last season is looking to do it again this year in 2017-18 season. We're thrilled to have the men's basketball team joining us for the final team of the Winter Preview. Coach, guys, thanks for being here. We'll go down the link. We know who you are. We're going to have you introduce yourselves for all the viewers out there, all your fans, family, friends out there watching. Introduce yourself, and then, Coach, we'll toss it back to you for an opening statement before we start throwing questions your way.
Right.
Trevor?
Senior guard Trevor Hill. I'm from Sandy, Utah.
Kyler Nielsen. I'm also a senior guard. I'm from Cedar City, Utah.
Senior guard Brandon Simister from St. George.
Coach, opening statement.
Opening statement. Well, these are our 3 captains we invited here. So far, they're doing really well for us. They're all seniors. It's going to be hard to see them go. They've been here with us for a long time. So we're excited for this year to get started.
Of course, you had a bunch of seniors to choose from. If you're talking about bringing seniors, we wouldn't have had a table long enough to bring all your seniors in. But just right off the bat, pretty experienced group you got coming back this year.
Yeah, we have 6 seniors. So like I said, 3 more would have been on this table. And we want to use that to our advantage. They know what's going on. They've been in the program. They're mature. They understand that. So hopefully we can take advantage of that with our games and use the experience that they have.
Coach, any changes style-wise, philosophy-wise this year from last year? I mean, have you and the coaching staff said, we're going to tweak this, we're going to do this a little bit different? Any new wrinkles that you can talk about?
Well, when you bring a new coach in, you always get that. Jeremiah's back with us, Jeremiah Barnes, and he's brought a lot of energy to our team, in practice especially. But he kind of brings up stuff that we ran when he was here. He was here 2010, 2011, and I told those guys when he first got here, don't believe everything he tells you, because he's telling a lot of stories that we didn't do when he was here. He said we did, but we didn't. But so we're going back, looking at that stuff and some of the things that we did that we felt that were good. The key of changing up your stuff is you got to do with your personnel, who you have. And since we have a lot of our guys back, we're going to try to keep a lot of the same stuff. Maybe change a few things here and there, but really kind of stay with what we've done. But we'll do some more changing as we go. We've only played 3 games. We got a lot of new stuff we have to put in and do, but these guys are catching on really. It's just the new guys coming in have to learn that.
Trevor, would you rather lead the team in steals, assists, or points this year?
Hopefully win shares. I don't care about points or stats or none of that. It's just about getting the win.
Kyler, you kind of really came on the scene last year, breakout season I would call it. What's your mindset going into this year? You know you're going to get the minutes. You know the coaching staff trusts you at this point. Have you spent some specific time working on certain aspects to get better of your game?
Yeah, just kind of the same mindset, just going every day, knowing that there are things that I can get better at to help the team, and that just, having the fellow players and coaches' confidence in you just makes me more confident, and I know that's going to transfer over to the games like it did last year. So just having that same mindset of getting better each day. So.
On to Brandon, and all 3 of you really, seniors, does that add a sense of urgency this year, knowing that not only last year in the Pac West, but last year, playing basketball for Dixie State, Brandon?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a unique opportunity kind of being where I'm at, and, us, the other 2 right here, last year playing collegiate basketball, and I feel like we've done a lot of good things in the years past, and we've got, achieved a lot of our goals, but there's a lot of things we want to do this year that we've never done before, and so that's really my mindset this year, is trying to get to advance in that tournament, get to the Sweet 16, and see where it takes us from there. And I feel like we have the personnel that can do that this year. And so that's really what we're trying to do, is just do something we've never done before in our 4 years here.
Brandon, it looked like the offseason, you spent a lot of time working on getting bigger, faster, stronger.
Yeah.
Talk about that and how that's translated so far early in the season.
Yeah, I think, that's kind of always my knock when I tell people I play basketball. They're like, wow, you're really short, just something like that. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I felt like there has to be something that kind of sets me apart, or at least just a way I can make up for my lack of height, if you want to call it that. And so I did spend a lot of time working out, trying to work on my speed and just my overall core strength. I felt like a lot of times I kind of got pushed around. These guys always laugh every time I get stuck in the post. They call mouse, and so I want to try to avoid that as much as I can. If I'm in the post, I want people to call mouse, So I tried to get in the weight room, and our strength coach over there, Coach Craig, did a great job of preparing all of us, and so I feel a lot better this year. I feel like I'm able to get through screens a little bit better and just feel more confident bringing the ball up and getting us in our offense. So. And
yet the shot feels just as good as it did last year?
Yeah, I'd like to think so. Yeah, I think there's always improvement there, and I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about shooting here today, but yeah, we're hoping to keep that going.
Trevor, as a senior, you've been here 4 years. consecutively, and Brandon kind of mentioned a little bit, so I'll ask you as well. Goals for the year. Obviously, you want to win as much as you can, win the conference, and mention advancing in the NCAA tournament. But in your 4 years here, the Pac West tournament has kind of been a one and done type thing. Also, how much has that been discussed to not only win the league in the regular season, but probably want to win the conference tournament also?
Yeah, it's a big topic around our team, but it's just one step at a time. We got to focus on each game to get there, and that's even practice. One day at a time. You got to get better at every drill. We can break it down, and then if we focus on the little things, it'll take care of our larger goals.
Coach, seems like you got these guys trained up pretty well. Take it one game at a time.
That's one game at a time, and he didn't even talk about the battles we have. We do that in games. We talk about the 4-minute battles. We have the media timeouts every 4 minutes, and then we break it down. Hey, let's win those 4-minute battles, and you do that, you're going to win the game. And last game we lost, we didn't. Our last 3-4 minutes we lost. So those are some things we have to work on. But these guys got it right on. We can't worry about the postseason play. We can't worry about any of that. We got to worry about the game that's ahead of us, and that will all work its way out. It'll all work out for us. And our league is good. There's no question. And so when you said this is our last year, that's our goal. We want to win the conference again for the last year being in it. We want to win it. We want to do some damage there, but we got to get there first. And these little preseason games and us getting better every single day, that's what we have to focus on right now.
Coach, talk about the versatility of this team. I mean, how many different guys can you play at the 3, the 4, the 5? I know you've got some guys a little dinged up still, but this team has had to be versatile in the early season.
Yeah, we took 13 last trip, and all 13 played, and some didn't get as many. These guys are pretty consistent with their minutes, being seniors and being in the program for 3 to 4 years with us. But the newcomers are trying to learn to get. But injuries have been crazy this year with us, and so they're trying to get them back. I like the depth of our team, like you said, but also it's tough because a lot of those guys might not see as much time as they've used to see or they want to see because we're so deep. So it's kind of a two-way sword right there. It's good for a coach, but it's not great for players. But these guys are catching on to that, and they realize, hey, it might be 5-6 minutes a game instead of 20, but they have to give me everything you have in those 5 or 6 minutes, and I think they're doing that.
Who's a guy that you could see having a big breakout season, kind of like maybe Kyler did last year?
Yeah, that's that's hard to say. I haven't seen that. Isaiah played pretty good this last weekend. The first game he played, he missed I think 2 shots. He was 5 for 7. He really came well. He got double, had 15 rebounds. That was something that was good to see. And then I thought Austin is another one that played really well the last 2 games. So our one Julian did not travel with us injury wise, so hopefully we get him back. But it could be anybody, and that's one thing with my stats. When you look at them, I love seeing guys in the 12, 13, 14 range, point-wise, and rebounding's about the same too. I love seeing that. It tells me we're sharing the ball. It tells me we're finding guys that are open. I don't want one guy averaging 30 and everybody else averages 5. I like how we're playing right now. It's just we just got to get stops at crucial times, and they want to bring this up, but we got to make foul shots. Those are our last 3 games that we've had. We should be 3-0 right now. We're that close. We lost 2 games by a total of 6 points, 1 by 4 and 1 by 2. So we're right there. We just gotta learn how to finish, and free throws are a big part of that. But I like our chances.
It was kind of interesting. Last year we had so many overtime games, and then right out the gate you have a double overtime game. I'm like, is this a trend that's just going to keep continuing? Trevor, how much does an early season double overtime game help you as you get ready for conference play coming up here in a little bit?
It helps a lot. We do game situation practice, but there's nothing like simulating in a real game. So the double overtime just prepares us for game situations that later on down the road we'll realize how important every possession is and every little detail matters.
Of course, Kyler, you go play the 3 games in California last week, but go even farther back. You get, November 1st, you got to go up and play Utah Valley, in-state, a little bit of a rivalry maybe brewing there. It was a fun game. You get to play against some people you probably knew out there. Let's talk about that game a little bit as a kickoff to the season this year.
Yeah, that was a fun environment, I think, for all of us. Especially we have a lot of guys up from the northern Utah area, so it was fun to have some fans and some family in attendance. And the game itself, we were right there. Just like Coach Judkins said, there's some things that we just needed to shore up, especially in the second half, that would have helped us play a little better and finish the game. But that's what those kinds of preseason games are for us to learn and get better. And I think each game that we've played so far has done that for us. So.
Kyler, are you trying to be cautious with your shot selection so far this season? I mean, when you shoot it, you're hitting at a high clip, but you haven't taken a lot of shots so far yet.
Just try to let it come to me. I mean, that's always been my thing is I don't force it, and I always like to share the ball with other guys. So I'm just trying to let it come to me. But there's definitely been times where I could be more aggressive, and that's what I'm looking for going forward is just having my guys' confidence that when they pass to me and I'm open, I'm going to hit that shot. So.
Brandon, I mentioned the UVU game to Kyler. I'll talk. Was it kind of exciting knowing that you're prepping a team to go play Kentucky, Duke? Coach K, guys like that are going to be watching film on you.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much they watched that game to prepare, but no, yeah, like Kyler said, it was a really fun experience to be able to play up there. We don't, unfortunately, get a lot of chances to play Division I teams, and so having that opportunity was really fun. I thought we showed well overall, and we were able to compete at a high level, and I felt really good. I felt like that was a great kind of kickoff to our season and showed us, I mean, you kind of had two very different games in one game almost. The first half where we were able to get stops, we shared the ball really well, we shot well, and that kind of showed what kind of team we can be. We can compete with really anybody, I feel like, when we're playing the way we were in that first half. And then second half we got away from the things that made us successful in the first half. And so for me, it was just really encouraging to see that we have the potential to be great, not just a good team. So,
Brandon, I'm curious, the point guard is always an extension of the coach in a lot of cases. Do you feel like you and Coach Judkins are as, dialed in as you could be heading into your senior season?
Yeah, I think a lot of the times, going through the past couple of years, I was trying to figure out exactly what he wanted out of me, but I feel like I understand the things he wants out of me, and as far as like the leadership type things and the kind of offenses that he likes us to run, or when to push, when to not, try to control the game. And it's something I'm still learning. I don't feel like I'm perfect at it by any means, and I feel like a great addition has been Jeremiah, or Maya, call him Coach Barnes. He's been great because he was a point guard. He played for Coach Judkins as well, obviously, and so he has had a lot of insights of just how to lead a team, kind of the things that I can do as a point guard in order to make sure that the ship's running smoothly and stuff like that. And so just the combination of having Maya and then being able to play for Coach right now, I feel like all three of us are really comfortable with where we're at and how the team is going to be in the next couple weeks.
Trevor, you guys are kind of like road warriors right now. The 3-game stretch there, back on the road already tomorrow, heading up to Oregon, then after that to Salt Lake City for the Thanksgiving tournament at Westminster. How much does that prepare you guys mentally? Obviously, you probably want to have a game or two at home during this stretch, but how much does that prepare you mentally for when you get to do come back and play at home and open up conference play in December?
I think on the road, it's important to just worry about us and what our team's doing, not worry about the fans on the outside or the other team. So when we come back home, just bring that same energy that we have when it's just us out there, and then we'll have the fan support, and that'll help even more propel us to do a better job. So.
Coach, it seems like the last couple of years we've had that 5 or 6 game home stretch toward the end of end of January, end of February. This year you got a stretch where you start conference play at home in December, and then you play 6 of your next 8 at home. So you kind of get that home stretch at the start of the conference season rather than toward the end of it this year.
Yeah, and I like that. The way we started right now, the preseason wasn't our idea. That first tournament we just went to, we thought that was going to be at home, and we just messed up and just didn't understand each other. So that was tough. But, this team I thought could handle it with the 6 seniors. The road trips I like a little bit, especially early in the season. It kind of gets your team together, like Trevor said. You're traveling together, hotels together, you're eating together. You get to know a lot of your teammates, the new guys coming in. So I think it kind of builds your team. I don't want to have the first 8 games on the road, but it just worked out to be that way. But again, I think it's going to help us in the future. I look at the conference tournament; it's at Cal Baptist. The NCAA tournament most likely could be at Cal Baptist. So you got to learn how to win on the road, and if you can figure that out, you're gonna be pretty good.
What were your thoughts when you saw the preseason predictions in the Pac West, Coach?
That's kind of where we voted. We thought that's about what it was. We think Cal Baptist would be number 1 with a lot of their guys back, and and the new facility they have and the new players they got. They got a couple D1 transfers, so we kind of felt that way. But I thought we were right there with these 6 seniors. You know, we lost 2 important pieces of our team last year with the bigs, and so we kind of really focused on trying to get some more bigs in here, and so hopefully they'll turn out to be what we want them to be. But you know, this league's good. 1 through 6, anybody can beat anybody. And we saw Azusa play with us down there as well, and they won their 2 games. You know, and they're picked 5th, I think. So it doesn't really matter. It's just nice to see that people respect us, that where we can be, expect these guys for what they've done the last 2 or 3 years, and realize, hey, they're going to be good again this year. So that was good. But like I always tell you, it's more important to me at the end, not the beginning.
Mr. 5-time Pac West, this is the final season.
Well,
I mean,
we better
you
get
guys
6
came in with a bang. What would it feel like to win that title?
Oh, that would be great. And again, that's our goal. That's our goal to do. And you know, we've enjoyed the Pac West. We think it's a great conference, great teams, and yeah, we want to leave them with a little taste in their mouth. Hey, that's a good team, and then we'll worry about next year when it comes.
Well, guys, appreciate you stopping by, being part of our media day today. We wish you the best of luck throughout the season. And, of course, like I said, quick turnaround. You get to go play in Oregon. I think Azusa, you mentioned Azusa. I think they're up in Oregon
too, yeah.
again, so you're kind of just following each other around up there and maybe get to see them a little bit and know a little bit about them when they come to town here in a couple weeks on December 9th. But we appreciate you stopping by. Wish you the best of luck, and you know, go get some rest before you hop back on an airplane tomorrow morning.
Sounds good. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Appreciate it. Of course, like we said, men's basketball team heading back to Oregon, or back up to Oregon for their 2nd road trip in as many weeks. They'll take on Eastern New Mexico on Friday at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, followed by a game against host school Western Oregon on Saturday the 18th at 4 p.m. Mountain Time. Both games, up in Monmouth, Oregon, and we'll have both games right here for you on ESPN 97.7 FM. I'll be there on the call. Appreciate all of our wonderful teams stopping by and making us part of their day. It's been a wonderful winter preview, but we have run out of time. Before we wrap things up officially, we'd like to thank the coaches and the players of the women's swimming and men's and women's basketball programs for taking the time to be with us today. We'd also like to thank the entire CEC TV crew who have worked tirelessly to get and keep our event on the air. We thank our radio producer, Andy Thompson, on the radio side, as well as Devin Dixon, for helping us make this a successful event. Most of all, we thank all of you who have watched and listened for your support of Dixie State Athletics. Here's to another great season of Trailblazer Athletics. For everybody involved today, I'm Carrick Segmiller saying thanks for tuning in. Have a great day.